That looks like it should be 7, 3, 4, 5, 9, 9. Oh, I did it. Hi, I'm a robot from the future, but you are from the years 500 to 1500 AD, a period known as the Middle Ages. Now, in the Middle Ages, there was a social class system called the Feudal system. Just to make sure that you don't embarrass yourself, I think I'll explain it to you. The peasants were at the very bottom. You see, they were actually the vast majority of the people in the Middle Ages. They lived on lord's land in exchange for food and shelter, and they were guaranteed protection. But they had to work all day, and I don't think I would like that at all. Peasants were sort of like modern-day farmers. You see, they worked in the fields all day, and they were generally pretty poor. One good thing about being a peasant is that they were guaranteed protection from invaders. The bad thing was that they had to work all day long in the hot sun. All in all, life as a peasant absolutely stunk. A lot of peasants were upset with their position in the feudal system. They were born into it, and they couldn't even change it. And as long as the lords were lords and the knights were knights, then the peasants would just be, well, you know. Next were the knights. You see, their job was to protect the lords and the king. They lived on the lord's land in exchange for things like land, I guess, and food. Knights are sort of like, actually they're a lot like modern-day soldiers. As you can see, that soldier there is being called a knight because they're very similar. Knights would protect from all evildoers, whoever they may be. Flying monkeys, maybe? The main 4 things a knight needed to survive were a sword, a shield, of course, to protect them from swords, and armor, and lovely horsey. Next were the lords. You see, the lords were the higher-ups in the social class, the feudal system. They were below the kings, but above the peasants and knights. You see, what they did was they had a large manor, and they just let knights and peasants live on it in exchange for things like food and shelter and protection. Lords back then were like celebrities now. They were rich and they had a lot of attention, and they had funny-looking hands. Lords had lots of money. It was their main thing. They had money because of the food. They were like at the top of the feudal system. Of course, the king was above them, but you get what I mean. So what they did was they had all this land, and they just rented it out with peasants and knights in exchange for food and other stuff. At the very top were the kings. They're not that important. They just ruled over everyone. Lords, knights, and peasants. Well, that's all we have for today. Tune in next time when we go to the Egyptian era.